We are connected. Come on. We are connected. We are connected. We are live. Oh yes, we are live. We are connected. Woohoo! Welcome, welcome. Hello, hello.
Puppets tonight.
Oh yes, we have puppets sitting by. So welcome to our live stream once again. It's number 15. 15. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Oh yes. Today, what are we going to be talking about today? Well, it's so exciting and quite exasperating. We're going to be telling you all about the very urgent, very important phone call we got from Spain yesterday. Yes, we were talking to Spain. Woo! And what was it all about? What did we find out? Well, stick around and we will reveal absolutely all in this latest instalment of our Moving to Spain adventure. And we will also answer all of your questions about anything else about Spain, anything about wellness and holistic therapy and pippity scatterdog, woof, and creative arts and music questions. So get writing in the chat box over there or down there, depending on what kind of phone or gadget you're using. And if you're watching back later, then do ask us in the comments. Nobody's commented. Oh yes, we have one comment on the side there. So one little thing before we begin. It only takes a second to click on the like button. Please. If you like it, click on the like. If you don't like it, click on the don't like. If you medium like it, sitting on the fence, just click on any of them. Just put your finger anywhere near them and just go like that.
You really meanie.
Yeah. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And it's also free to subscribe. So subscribe and click on the bell.
Ding!
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have to click on the bell if you don't want to, but by just subscribing, that really does help us out. I don't know if you know, but the likes and the comments and the chat actually adds to our little total on the algorithm as far as YouTube are concerned, and really helps us to become monetized.
It's all about algorithms.
Yeah.
You never thought you'd hear that outside maths at school, did you? There you go. So yes, do that. And if you do click on the bell, then what it does is I think you get a choice of whether you can get a message every time, a notification every time we do absolutely anything. Like when we go to the bathroom, you get a notification. You get absolutely everything.
She's on the way.
Ding!
No, so I mean it means that you get a choice. So you don't have to click on them if you don't want to. But we like to do ting anyway, just because
we do. So
I
we'll
get
do it
to
again.
use my things that I bought in India.
Yes, they're lovely, those ones.
They're
Very
gorgeous,
shiny.
aren't they?
And so let's do the theme for you. We like to do the theme every time. Ba da 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 da. Ah,
Lovely, aren't
they? Delightful. And
Singers.
as I say, we've got a nice old song at the end as well. Ooh, I'm looking forward to that one. It's one that I'm sure you'll all know it. So thank you once again for coming with us on this lovely journey.
Yeah.
Lovely and horrific journey and bad, panicky journey and journey that's we have no idea what's going to happen, which of course makes it more exciting for us and more exciting for you. And hopefully, if any of you are planning a similar move to Spain or anywhere really, just emigrating, but particularly Spain, then we hope that this information helps you. And it's certainly relevant to anybody who's moving from the UK.
Especially if you're moving from the UK, yeah, because if you're moving from Ireland and you're an Irish citizen, you've got no worries whatsoever.
Absolutely.
Freedom of movement
Freedom of
throughout
movement.
the EU, but of course,
you're almost treated like a Spaniard.
We
but
haven't.
Not quite. Yeah, we haven't. So as you can see, we're flying the Spanish flag today. We've got to move out the way so you can see the full works there, and as well as our logo there in the middle, designed by the wonderful Liz Skatz. Yes, she's a relation. And I thought it was appropriate to have the flag because yesterday, yes, we got that call from the company in Spain who will be helping us to get a visa application done and also sort out all the documents that we need and to register the business and basically everything to do with bureaucracy that's fraught with danger and disaster. And if we were trying to do these things alone, it would just
we'd be sunk already, I think, just under the weight of it all. because it's a lot to remember and it's a lot to sort out, and without fluent legal Spanish, I mean, it's bad enough that we don't know fluent Spanish already, but fluent legalese in Spanish would be helpful.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah. But one day, no, mind you, we'll probably never know that.
I don't want to know legalese of any language, I don't think.
Yeah, but we'll be fluent in Spanish in hopefully a fairly short time. We've both been studying.
Well, I think once we're there, it'll help, won't it? Because
Yeah.
it would be. Somebody said to us the other day when we dropped off CDs the other day, and Anita was saying that, you know, once you're right in the thick of it.
This is it. I'm just going to move this a little bit closer to you because you've got a lighter voice than I have, and I've got a boomy voice. So here we go. So, what happened on the phone call then? We should give this company a plug.
Yeah, we've so far have been very, very impressed with Chris at the company Upsticks, and their website is called upsticks.ses. Sorry, upsticks.es.
Yes, for Spain. Yeah.
And they have been absolutely superb. Now, Chris actually moved to Spain, I think, over a decade ago, and maybe even two. I'm not quite sure, but he had a plethora of issues that came up even as an EU citizen back in those days, and he just wanted to help out anybody who wanted to move from the British Isles. And of course now he is even more exciting to talk to because he now has a huge company and lots of people that help him. He's got accountants and legal people and estate agents and all these sort of people who collaborate with him and make everybody's job a little bit easier and a little bit smoother.
Yes.
And you just pay him a certain amount of money, and most of it is to translate what we give him in English into Spanish so that it all works properly. And that's the main thing that he will do. But we will also get help with form filling, and also if we want to, we can give him or somebody else within the company power of attorney, which is a huge thing. And that means that we can get very important documents filled in and done without us even having to be there, which is astonishing. So
absolutely, and he's very nice and he's down to earth, and there's no bull, which is strange because it's Spain.
So we talked to him. Skatz had sort of investigated him a little bit before. I haven't spoken to him, but
he does videos. There are videos on YouTube as well. He's got a channel there.
So if you just look up Upsticks on YouTube, he's a very helpful chap and does lots of different videos for different issues that you might encounter.
But nothing so far about the self-employed, the new self-employed rules after Brexit, because
which is what we
as
need
he
to
said,
know about.
Yeah, we'll tell you about this now, because the first important thing that he explained, we didn't know what this NIE and TIE was. I'd heard so much about it when I've been doing some research, but
we heard it a lot on the Place in the Sun webinars as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
Or NIE we heard on Place in the Sun.
Yes, you'll need your NIE, and then they were saying everybody who lives there already, who has a house over there, if you've got a holiday house and you want to stay there for longer, then you need the TIE. And I thought, well, is that what we need, or do we need the NIE?
We had no idea.
And actually, it turns out we need both.
Yeah.
Because the NIE is just that's the number.
Oh right. Okay.
And the TIE.
I thought they give you a bit of paper with the NIE as well.
Oh yes, but that's the piece of paper with the number on it. It's a little bit like the Irish system, and the TIE is the card.
Yeah.
It stands for tarjeta, which means card, like credit card.
So we'll get a card basically that will entitle us when we have the visa sorted out, which it'll entitle us to stay there for a year. Yeah. Which is great.
And then you have to renew at the end of the year, and there's a whole process that we'll go into in a second. So we have to apply for those. Well, the NIE, certainly we need the number in advance before the bank account can be opened, so they'll do that for us. And then
if
the TIE,
we have to give them power of attorney to do that.
Yeah.
But we can also give them power of attorney, and they apparently, if my notes are correct and I remember properly, not very good at that at the moment, but if we have the NIE, they can, and we've given them power of attorney, then they can get us the TIE, which is the little card, which if we're going to sort of translate it into English terms, then it's like your national health card, so it's basically got like a social security number, but it's also got on it the visa that you are allowed in the country on it as well. So it's a really, really important thing, and it means that we won't have to be handing out or taking our passports with us everywhere we go as well, because apparently beforehand you needed to be carrying your passport with you all the time, just in case you got stopped for any reason or anything happened. So really important. I
think we'll carry them anyway, certainly for the first
few weeks. I think we're going to need to, but the TIE, we're assured that it means you don't have to, so I think we'll probably do belt and braces and do both.
And those are things that you have to get in Spain. No, the NIE you don't get in Spain anymore. This is what we heard on the webinar this afternoon. You get that before you go. You must have that before you go. But the TIE can get in Spain.
We could get that when we get there, but we can. I think we can actually have the card so that when we enter Bilbao or Santander, wherever we go, whichever port we end up landing in, we've already got it. So
and the other thing is that under normal circumstances, you'd get your TIE when you were there in Spain, because that's what you need to get within a month of arriving, in order to register that that you're there and you've got your visa, which is the next thing that we came to. The visa, which is different from the NIE and the TIE, and it's different from residency.
And it's different now. It's past the 31st of December.
Yes. So this visa now, which has to be got or applied for at the Spanish embassy in Dublin, we need 2 separate appointments, which we mentioned last week, is for the self-employed visa, which I don't know if it's the visa that goes under the name autonomo or it's the state of being self-employed.
The state of being self-employed is the autonomo, but you will have actually autonomo on the visa to say that that's which one we're doing.
Yes. And in order to get that kind of visa, we need to have a solid business plan of exactly what we're going to do and qualifications to prove that we will be able to earn a certain amount of money.
I've got so many qualifications, it's going to be mad.
Yeah.
It's going to be like 19 certificates worth of stuff. So anyway.
Well, that's the thing. This is going to be an easier thing for Liz.
Yeah.
Because she's got specific qualifications which relate directly to everything that she does. And that's brilliant. So I think what we'll have to do is apply with Liz as the main person, and I'll just be tagging along. Because my qualification is performing arts. It's a degree, which is actually a higher qualification.
But I mean, you haven't done anything like.
No,
you've just used your degree to get jobs, haven't you? And so I suppose like working for Bamboozle or working in schools and things like that.
But it's not the sort of thing, because it's a creative one and an arts one, it's not the sort of thing that you go...
It's very wide, isn't it?
You don't go into a job saying, right, I am a performing artist, give me a job at your performing arts building.
Because it's not really a job called perforing arts, really.
No, it's a wide scope.
Very wide scope.
So on all of these creative strings to my bow that I've got, and once we've said what our work is, we can't do anything other than that. Once we've declared what our business is, like for example, we can't be paid by anybody as an employee.
No.
We can't do a bar job to tide us over or any kind of employment.
Or any kind of, I'll do a bit of gardening for an old granny up the road. Can't do that.
No, not unless it's artistic. And you playing music at the same time or something. We're going to find ways around.
We'll find ways around it, I hope. But we want to be legal and above board, and that's the way we have to do it. So. Yeah.
So we had a big discussion about what our business title was going to be.
Yeah, that was a heavy discussion yesterday.
We've got. What we need is the widest choice of possibilities, so that I can do gigs and workshops and teaching and filming and making of things like puppets and. Anything that we do online, helping other people to do creative stuff online as well.
And of course, I will be doing things like the holistic stuff, so the aromatherapy, the reflexology, the yoga, the meditation, hopefully things like retreats and maybe classes and I don't know what else. We'll just figure it out as we're going along, I think. Yeah. But I also want to be doing the filming and helping Skatz with things as far as the YouTube channel is concerned. And so, of course, that doesn't really come under anything that I do, so we have to have and I'm also a musician, so it's very, very I think we're going to have to be very tactical about how we word it on
so far
thing.
we came up with the title of Holistic Therapy and Creative Arts. Now, I don't know if we'll have to split that up or whether we just have that as one title,
that will be,
and then we can both do anything that relates to that, because creative arts is a big, wide-spanning thing. And I've got lots of proof of what I've done before, lots of work and lots of, what do you call it when you get a recommendation?
Well, you've got references. And testimonials.
Testimonial,
from people,
that's the word.
But and those sort of things are going to come in really handy. And I think we're going to have to do, as with everything, we're going to have to do belt and braces and do absolutely everything. And so we've got all the information there, and if whatever they need, we can just throw it at them and it'll be great. So, yeah.
And the other thing we've talked about is the effect of Brexit and Covid, which is something they talked about on the webinar that was on today, which we'll talk about in a minute, and that everybody's talking about over in Spain in terms of people who want to move over there. It's all a new set of rules. We're only 27 days into this new arrangement, and they said on the webinar today, didn't they? It's like there's been a divorce, and now what's happening is we're just arguing over who wants the children,
custody of the kids.
So it's all of the legal
analogy.
Details and everything that might take months and months and months. And there's people who applied for their TIE who are living in Spain already, who still haven't got that paperwork through, and there's still applications going through, and the consulates are open, but there's such a backlog of applications.
There's a backlog of TIEs, and there's a backlog of visas in various different countries as well. So because they weren't sure how it was all going to happen, and of course because the deal, I know it was only the trade deal was only arranged on the 24th, but there are other implications to certain visas and things like that came with that. So it's a very complicated, and again, it's all legal talk and politic talk. But the effects of Brexit are that they're in the burgeoning stages of working out what they're going to do and how it's going to work out. But the wonderful thing was on the webinar we saw today was the Spanish consulate, the British consulate for Spain, who was on the webinar today, which was fantastic to see her. She was a wonderful and very knowledgeable woman, as all the three panelists were. But and she was saying, these are things that we're probably going to tease out and work out the best ways of dealing with it, and things might change in the next few months as well. I don't think things are going to change that much with regards to visas, but I think if we're not, people who aren't working, I think are going to be able to stay a little bit longer, because you can only stay for 90 days at the moment if you have a house out there. So I mean that's right. If you've just got a holiday, if you're not officially resident, if you didn't apply for residency, then you can only stay for 90 days in a rolling 180-day period, which is a bit difficult to get your head around. But so you can only stay, if you're staying there for 90 days, you have to go home for 3 months before you can come back again. So very, very difficult. For people who have houses out there and who don't live there permanently. And of course, not everybody wants residency, you see, because once you apply for residency, you can't use the NHS in the UK.
Oh no, you can to start with. That was a different thing, but the thing that happens as soon as you become resident is you're taxed by Spain, and not by the UK anymore. And it might be that if you've got money coming in from the UK, you've already been taxed, so you've got to then be taxed by Spain, and then you've got to claim it back that you've already been taxed. So some people could be hit quite hard by that.
But anyway, it's irrelevant to us anyway. Thank goodness. It's not
that's
relevant
for people
to
who
us.
have what's their visa called? It's a non-earning visa. I had it written down on here, but non-lucrative visa, and that's one that only matters if you're not working, and you've got to have enough money in the bank to tide you over.
Mind you, we have to have enough money in the bank to tide us over.
We do as well, yes, as we have to have enough money in the bank and to show that we can earn enough. And then at the end of the first year, when we reapply, you've got to have enough in the bank, or enough to prove that you can earn a certain amount for 2 years worth of that. And the amount that you need is something like
Well,
33.
for couples, for Skatz and I, we have to have over 33,000 euros in the bank. Thankfully, that will be covered. Thankfully.
Yeah.
But if you have children, then it's an extra 7,000 ish for each child. And then if you because the second year that you apply, after your year is up, the reason that you have to do double the amount is because you get a 2-year visa at that time. So that's the reason why. It's just they want to know that you've got 2 years worth of money. And the reason Chris explained it is that it's actually they go for minimum wage and what you can survive on for minimum wage, and the minimum wage is 26,000 and something.
Well, actually, what they do is take the minimum
euros.
wage and multiply it by 4, and that's 26,000 because it's something like 6,000.
So the minimum wage is 6,000 a year.
Yeah, so that's what they work out that you need to survive on. There's a special name for it with an abbreviation, which I can't remember what it is.
I thought 24,000 was.
No, that's
their minimum wage.
That's the multiplied by 4.
So that you need for this. To live on 6,000 a year.
No, that's the amount. Well, I don't know. They made the rules.
Mad.
That's what you used to need if you were moving over to Spain and you wanted to live there. Was the 6,000 and something.
But anyway.
But now it's that multiplied by 4.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that's changed after Brexit. So
you need a lot of money in the bank.
You can tell that there's, this is what's going on in offices. People who are helping, people who are moving. There's these little details are being discussed, and some people have heard one thing, and some people have heard another. But hopefully, even the British consul that was on there, bless her, she was lovely, but she was saying, yes, I've heard that, but that's definitely a rumour.
But it's only a rumour.
But we don't know, and this might be happening in the future, but I'm not sure that they're dealing with this yet because they're dealing with other things.
That was about the time scale you could stay in, wasn't it?
And she's the one that's there, and she's the head of, she's the British consul, actually, not for the whole of Spain.
No, but she's...
For Andalusia and the islands.
So she is the one who we would hopefully not have to speak to ever, because we only get to speak to her if we're in dire straits.
Yeah.
But we know who she is now, which is nice.
Yeah. So we'll be talking to Chris again in a month or 6 weeks.
Yeah, you said a month to 6 weeks, so that is where we are at. So it was a really important phone call that really helped us out. But there's some more info as well about health insurance that we found out, which was thankfully
really positive,
a relief, to be honest with you, because we have heard again varying different accounts of what it costs for somebody with a pre-existing illness.
I've got a condition that's pre-existing,
and how much it costs. And of course, if you're going there on a and you're not going to work, you're a non-lucrative visa, then you have to have health insurance. And of course,
private.
If you're non-lucrative, then the chances are you're retired, which means that there's a possibility that you might have some sort of pre-existing condition. And so that means that you would end up paying quite a lot of money as health insurance, because they are expecting you to be seeing the doctor quite often and maybe having to go and get medication and also maybe have hospital treatments and things like that. So of course the health insurance would be just skyrocketing.
And I've heard a figure of 800 a month.
Yeah, so yikes. Anyway, so we were a bit worried about that because of Skatz's diabetes and the fact that he needs blood tests regularly and eye tests and things like that go with along with that. So it was something we were really concerned about. But thankfully,
yes, as an autonomo, which we actually have to pay a regular amount, which means that that includes coverage for health insurance. I mean, it'll be basic, and we could add to that by having some private on top of it. Yeah. But at least we don't definitely have to buy the private health insurance, which could be a lot. So
we will get the same health care as a Spaniard would be able to be receiving. Obviously, we'll be contributing to that in some way. Some of it we may have to add to So if we had to have an operation of some description,
Yeah, there's always extras.
we may have to add extras, but then I suppose we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, but nothing apart from that, really, nothing much has changed about health in Spain.
Yeah.
If you're moving over, Brexit hasn't really changed that, except this point that we mentioned before about once you're definitely a permanent resident, which is after once you've done your 1 year and your 2 years, you need to prove another 2 years, which is 5 years altogether. Then you can become a permanent resident, and then, well, you're just like, it's as if you're an EU full resident then, and
Which
you've
would
got
be
the
great.
same rights as anybody who was in Spain before Brexit.
Yeah. And I was actually concerned that would be 10 years, but it's not, it's only 5. So that's lovely to know.
And once you get to that point, then you've got no rights to go back to the UK and use the NHS.
Yeah.
That's, you're Spanish, and that's it. You use the Spanish health service.
Well, you're not actually Spanish, are you? You're still British
Well, you're not
citizens
Spanish,
living in Spain, but, you're not.
Yeah. Unless you go for another 5 years, then
and
you
then
can
we
apply
can become Spanish citizens.
citizenship. So that's
that's
a bit of time in the future.
And that's if we decide that we want to stay there or
Yeah, well, I think,
disappear off somewhere else after that.
Well, I'm not sure I'll have the strength by then.
I know, yeah. Well, especially if we've got to do all this nonsense all over again. I think, mind
Yeah.
you, this is it. We never said we were going to move from here, and here we are,
Yeah,
going off doing something else,
yeah.
somewhere else. So
And so,
never say never.
never say never. Well, this has been, it's been confusing, it's been strange, and we've been going through the sort of bleak period of the year as well, with the sad Monday, the third Monday in January, and this is a time when we've both been feeling it. We're putting a brave face on things, but it's not conducive to confidence, and all of these obstacles that are happening. It's really difficult. Ireland was a doddle compared to this.
Well, we just moved here.
We did.
really
It's
have
so
to do
easy
anything
to move
else.
from Britain to Ireland.
We just got in the car and came over here, and that was it. And
we had friends
no-
here. We've
Yeah.
met some people while we're on holiday.
Mind you, there's still time for us to meet people in Spain. I don't think there's. I'm
But
not worried about that.
The difficult thing we've got at the moment is because of COVID. This is the problem with COVID, is that we can't go over there. We can't
Yeah.
make face-to-face friends.
And that's fair enough too. We're fine with that, but it's like it would be helpful if we could go over and meet people. But
Yeah.
I think that what appeases me a little bit about that is that we're able to do things like Zoom and FaceTime and Skype and endless other face-to-face WhatsApp things and all this kind of thing. So you do actually get an idea of what people are like, and it's not just a phone call, and it is more of a visual thing now.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we live in these times where that is available to us, so that you can actually see somebody in their body language and and I think it'll be easier for us when we're doing things like talking to landlords and landladies and estate agents and the accountant and things like that, so that they can actually see what we're thinking and we get a better idea of who they are. And
it's part of the way towards doing what you can only do when you're absolutely there, which is like we did when we came to Ireland. It wasn't until I got in the pubs singing that people started to know who I was, and they would talk to me, and then I got more gigs because of that, and it was all word of mouth. And it's the same anywhere you go. It's not until people meet you properly and get to know you that they know who you are, and they will say, right, you can do this for me.
And of course, there's also the amazing thing of the local curiosity. I found when I moved here and I did the market up in Ballinskelligs for the first couple of weeks that I was here, first couple of Sundays that we were here, and there were lots of people who decided to come and have a massage with me because they wanted to see inside the house that we were living in. They didn't, and they admitted it openly. They just said, the only reason we chose to come down here was because we wanted to see in the house. Yeah. Because they'd never seen inside the house. So there's things like that too, and they wanted to sort of get to know me a little bit. What does it entail? They don't know. There was curiosity, really, and I'm imagining that the same sort of thing is going to happen because human beings are naturally curious. And,
So we're going to do the markets.
Yeah.
Liz will be selling the products, the holistic therapy products, and I'm thinking of, making a load of puppets and selling them on the markets, because or doing other kind of crafts that fit in with the holistic label, really, or anything to do with music. So that will be the opportunity, especially actually, and that'll be a big opportunity to learn better Spanish, because if I've got a puppet on my arm and I can have the puppet doing the talking, and that's then an excuse for a child puppet to be talking very bad Spanish, and so the Spanish children can teach the puppet how to speak Spanish, which I think will be the best way for me to learn Spanish.
That'd be a good thing to
and
do.
I'll get away with having a terrible accent to start with, and that will be great. So what else did we learn? We saw the webinar, A Place in the Sun webinar today, and we didn't learn anything new in particular because they were mostly talking about the non-lucrative visa people, because that's 80% of the people who want to move over to Spain at the moment are doing it because they've retired and they don't want to work.
Another thing that we learnt as well today was that the only way that you can actually go out and work in Spain for an employer is if they have looked for people to fill that job within the area and haven't managed to find anybody to do it. And after that certain period of time, they're allowed to go out into the big wide world.
The rule
Spain,
actually is,
and then you can actually apply. You can actually start bringing people in. So that was
the rule is if they've got to check in the whole of Spain and the whole of the EU that nobody else can do that job. And if they can't find it, then it's an emergency and they've got to go outside the EU.
So you have to have a specific skill set.
Yeah.
And if you haven't got that skill set, then you're kind of scuppered.
Professional athlete is one that can get you in. So if you're a professional athlete,
translators are very popular as well. People who speak multilingual, not just English and Spanish, but English, Spanish, French, Italian, maybe something like Portuguese or Japanese.
Yeah, if you've got an unusual one, you can work in the
Chinese,
consulate.
Mandarin, Cantonese, that sort of thing, then you will be able to get a job like that. But unfortunately, we do not have those skills.
No.
So we have to, the easiest thing for us to do is to go in and be self-employed, which is why we're doing it.
There is one other way we can get in, and that is do it on a non-lucrative visa and, have the money in the bank. But that's incredibly risky because we wouldn't be able to work to begin with. And you're allowed to change your visa while you're there and apply for the self-employment autonomo. But you've got to then prove the business plan and do all of that and prove that you can do it from the point when you start working. And that's risky because if by the end of the year they haven't given you that visa, then you've got to skedaddle out the country or stay really there and have twice as much money in the bank, which you can't get because you're working and because you can't earn. So that's a tricky one, and we're not going to do that. Also, you have to pay.
We win the lottery, maybe.
Also,
in which case we might do that.
Also, you've got to pay the private health insurance. To begin with, in which case there might be a massive thing there. Yeah. The other way to get in, if you're watching this and you don't fit into the other categories, but you've got loads of money, is to buy a house worth $500,000.
It's the golden visa.
A golden visa, or put $1 million in the bank, or get some government bonds for $2 million. So if you've got that kind of money, yes, if we won the lottery, that would be the first thing we do. Pop $1 million in the bank, and then thank you at the border. They go, here's some gold.
I know, well, we get escorted off the boat with a limo, I think, probably, if that happens.
A flying car.
And in fact, I think probably a diplomat would actually come and welcome us to the country.
With a red carpet and kiss our feet.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yes. So any questions?
Yeah.
Nobody's asking any questions on the chat.
No.
Maybe the questions will all come in later when it's in the comments. So we look forward to answering those.
A lot of people watching back now, so just...
Yes, people are watching from the start. So the people who have started watching now haven't got to this bit yet. Get here quick. So any food news? What have we got? We've been kind of staying the same weight or just going up and down a little bit. We're still heavier than we were before Christmas.
No, actually, I'm not.
You're not? You've got back down. Well done.
I've lost 3 pounds since Christmas because I was 62 and I'm now 58. So actually, it's more like 4 pounds, actually. So I've lost about 4 pounds. But that's because I have been doing everyday, regular 19 or 20-hour fasts. And so I've only been having a snack and then main meal. And that seems to be really doing the trick right now. And even if I have like some berries and cream afterwards, I don't seem to be putting on any weight. So, or if I do, it's like, tiny, which, can be anything from I drank too much water to I didn't drink enough water. So I'm not that bothered about that.
Yeah. I've been having sometimes 2 meals a day, but I've been trying to keep them tight and together, not much time in between them. And I don't, like I did tonight, I had some berries and cream afterwards, which has become a bit of a habit. When I don't do that, it is lovely, yes, and it fits in with the food groups that we can eat.
Well, and it's a bit like
if I don't have
it's a bit like
exercise,
pudding. It is a pudding eating as well, isn't it? Makes you feel good.
And when I start eating desserts, then that might be when I start having problems, because I really like those kind of foods.
Yeah.
Anyway,
depression.
Yes, I've put depression ? We won't talk about that too much. There's no question about it at all.
No.
And that's been affecting everything we do, and the time that we get up in the morning and what we can do.
We're not brilliant at the minute, but then it's the time of year and we've got nothing to do. We can't go anywhere, so it's like normally we'd just be plodding along doing the work that we're doing. I certainly would be. I'd be out 3, 4, 5 times a week working, and of course that's not happening right now. But I shouldn't complain. It's the same for absolutely everybody.
Yeah.
In one way or another, we are affected, and the weather isn't fantastic either.
Yeah. Funny thing is, I'm doing a school project at the moment, a complete online project with 2 other artists, and it's all about wellness. So I'm actually cheering people up as my job at the moment, which is great fun, and actually that keeps me going a lot of the time anyway. That keeps me a bit happier, so I can still think clearer though than other years.
Yeah,
I'm sure I can, and that's because of keto and fasting.
I'm remembering things more, but it's
except then.
Well, no. I was just
have the occasional
wondering
sudden
what I was
freeze.
going to say.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's just not brilliant. So apologies for not getting more videos out, and I apologise for not getting the yoga video out yet. I'm hoping to do it either tomorrow or over the weekend, because it's just a little bit too much for me to do right now.
And this is going to be the chair yoga?
It'll be chair yoga, so it'll be nice and easy for anybody to do, and it will be on the channel. It won't be one that you have to buy. So I have actually done, I tried to organise a wellness course that nobody wanted to do.
No,
and then,
it's a tough time to get anybody to do anything.
Well, you'd think
beginning of January.
Maybe wellness or yoga or something like that. The New Year plan didn't happen. Nobody signed up for that. So I'm just sort of like, you tell me, what do you want me to help you with? I do yoga, I do meditation, I do keto and nutrition, I do fasting, I do reflexology, I do aromatherapy oils. What do you want?
Yeah, there is. There's so much you can help with. I can sing you a song. That's all I can do.
No, you do more than that. You're already working. I can make you You're already earning money. I'm not. But
the money won't come in for quite a while. But at least
it's happening. And that's the thing. I mean, that's basically what I want to be doing. I want to be earning some money.
Yeah.
And the t-shirts, so look down for the t-shirts. There's a 15% discount right now if you order before the 31st of January. So you have got 4 days left to order.
Yes, quick rush.
T-shirts, hoodies, there's mugs, so order away. There's lots of different ones. They're not all about keto and fasting. And so please do that, because we'd be really grateful.
Yes, thank you in advance for that. If you missed any of the previous episodes of our live stream, you can still get them. I'll put a link. I can't put a link immediately at the end of this video until it's been a few days into the future. But when it's fully uploaded in a day or so, then I'll put a link at the end and you can watch back to the previous episodes. You can always find them in the live streams playlist. And yes.
Another thing is, if you wanted to be our patrons, we have a Patreon account now, and that'll be down in the comments later on. I'll pop that in once we're able to comment and pin the comments as well, so that you can see where you can click on that and become a patron. And don't think that you're just giving us X amount of money every month. You will get something in return. So you will get all sorts of things, from a basic email to I don't know, yoga and meditation classes specifically designed for yourself, and even a song written for you if you're
Yes,
that
real life
much
song.
inclined. So there's plenty of stuff. There's also discounts on the merchandise. So there's lots and lots of reasons why it's not just you giving us money. You will get stuff in return.
Yes, absolutely. So we have a song for you. What was I going to say? There was one other thing and I've forgotten already. There you see. Sometimes the memory just goes. But don't tell the health insurance companies in Spain about my memory loss.
We'll be all right again in a bit.
Oh, we'll be fine, yes.
By the time we get
everything
to
will be lovely.
March, I always find that March, I always feel better. So because the nights start getting lighter and we can be outside a bit more.
Yes,
I miss being
indeed.
outside.
That's the thing. We're going to get a lot more outside in Spain. Oh yes, that's the thing. That great big sunshine that I can see up there. A new sort of light thing. It's a circular light.
It's a halo.
Because
it's called.
up until now, everything that we've done in this room has been filmed under a massive light bulb over there and a kind of thingy bulb thing over there, halogen bulb over there, and one little bulb on a thing over here, and it wasn't proper lighting, and now we're in this massive blast of light, and I'm a bit washed out.
I know I need to wear makeup, I think.
I'll have to adjust this, and so that's much nicer.
Colour. That's weird. It's because my
What's
mug
that?
is actually green, so it's now coming up.
Oh, it's coming up with the
If I
flag.
put it up
Oh
there,
yes, we're not supposed to wear anything yellow. I did have a coat on before we started that. Suddenly I was going invisible and see through. There we go.
Got green things on.
Yes, we have to stay away from green. But it's lovely anyway. It means we can have that flag behind us or anything. Yeah. Ask us what we can have behind.
I think we should have
Tell us.
the universe.
The universe. And we can have a video as well on a loop that's just moving round and round and round.
That would be very cool. Like underwater. Can we be underwater?
Yeah. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make a video with Otto, the octopus artist, soon, and he's going to have an underwater scene behind him.
Let us know what you'd like to see behind us. That would be really cool.
Put that in the comments. Like and subscribe and click on the bell.
Mars rover or something. I don't know.
I'm still waiting for a ting.
Oh, sorry.
Fantastic. I was going to say you had one job to do.
No. Well, yeah, that is how it feels right now.
Here we go. So, finally, a song. We do a song every week, and we do a song at the moment from 1925 or before, because it's in the public domain, and I think some of these songs are absolutely wonderful. And we'll leave you with this one.
For those of you who used to watch Downton Abbey, this is from the homecoming scene of Matthew when he comes back from World War One.
Oh, yes. If you were the only girl in the world, and I was the only boy, nothing else would matter in the world today. We could go on loving in the same old way. A garden of Eden just made for two, with nothing to mar our joy. I would say such wonderful things to you. There would be such wonderful things to do if you were the only girl in the world and I was the only boy.
A garden of Eden just made for two, with nothing to mar our joy. I would say such wonderful things to you. There would be such wonderful things to do if I were the only girl in the world and you were the only boy. Isn't it nice?
How delightful.
Right, good songs they did back in the 20s.
He did, didn't they? So, well, that's all for this week. Look out for all the videos that are coming up soon, and do leave us some comments and have a chat with us, and have a chat with yourself, have a chat with other people, because that's one of the things that you need to keep yourself well. Keep yourself talking and sending out love to everybody. So we'll say love and peace and namaste.
Take care.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
End stream. End.